regarding responding to maternal health and infant health. But the point is, has this intervention been sufficient? We just saw the release of a report by Save the Children just this week, and that report says that Sierra Leone is the worst peacetime country in the world for a woman to be pregnant in. We are among the worst 5, and all the other 4 are war countries. We are the worst peacetime nation in the world. So we need to do a lot more. These rights are enshrined in our books, in our law books, but the reality is they are not being done. Are they not being done because we don't have the resources? Probably partially yes, but then largely because of so many other problems. So probably like Agnes said, some of the provisions of our constitution are really good, but their implementation is the biggest problem. So I agree with you that the socio-economic rights are being at best not well responded to, and probably as worst being ignored. And the people do not even know that they have these rights. So in addition to reviewing this constitution, which like I said on top of the program should be really holistic and the public should have their real buy-in, we also need to let the people know what their rights and obligations are so they can ask for them and demand for them from the DTBRS.
Okay, thank you very much, Umaru. And Boyi, you would end this segment with giving us your views on socio-economic rights that we've discussed so far.
Yeah, thank you. The Constitution is very clear about those rights. And as somebody who has been a teacher and also in the teachers' union, I will tell you for free, the demise of education started in the 80s when certain people, highly placed people, non-politicians in the Ministry of Education, connived with heads of schools and started this demand issue. That is the problem that is still kicking at the education we have in Sierra Leone. Next is, I will come back to Parliament. Parliament, as a body, has committees. They have the power to check, to call anybody to appear or even go on site to investigate. Do we have a Parliament that is performing that kind of duty? Yes, the executive is doing what they think they want to do. There may be the will by the head of state to see changes in some of these things. But let us look at government as a machinery involving a whole number of people. Most times we put the blames on the politicians. But down there, somebody may not be doing what has to be done. And these things are coming out through the press. Have we ever had a voice raised by Parliament to ask questions? No. They approve of the budget. They have the appropriation committee. They have the education committee. They have all kinds of committees and members of those committees. What are these people doing to ensure that whatever money they approve of that the state puts into these projects is properly utilized?
Okay.
Next, when it comes to this health issue, the same issue started deteriorating when the Ministry of Health itself could not support the staff they had in the 80s, and also a lot of other factors like we had a cost recovery drug program providing cheap medicine for people under, what was the name of this Minister of Health? This chemistry lecturer at Kobe College who is dead now. Wilshire Johnson, okay? Dr. Wilshire Johnson. We had this cost recovery that was grossly misused, especially in the areas outside Freetown. We have had so many programs that should have seen that country develop. But because somebody up there is not doing his job, or somebody in some arm is not doing his job, they leave people out there to do things with impunity. Before we started this program, me and the Leslie, where we were discussing about certain issues, You see, it's time to start putting blame. It's time to start telling people that we have problems of attitude in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
We can't blame when we
much.
ourselves are not doing our jobs. It's time for Parliament to wake up and do their job. I'm putting it squarely on Parliament that until they act as a body to ensure that the legal status of that country is kept to, nothing will function in that country. Nothing. Let us get that clear. We see what is happening in America. We see what is happening in Britain. The executive does not get a free ride. Public servants don't get free ride. What's the Parliament? To answer for their stewardship. What is our Parliament doing? The press is doing what it can. It's exposing some of these things. But how is Parliament reacting? Because most of the people who go to Parliament, they go there for self-aggrandizement. They don't go to serve the people who are the suffering masses. They know the problem because each parliamentarian has a constituency. Each parliamentarian knows the condition in those constituencies. Are they discussing it in Parliament? Are they asking questions where questions deserve to be asked? Let us stop blaming politicians in the executive. Let us look at the politicians in Parliament. They're not doing their job.
Thank you very much for you. Thank you very, very, very much for that. You've made it abundantly clear that the onus lies with Parliament, in your opinion. We're going to take a short break now, and we shall be back, and we will go on to the next step. Welcome to Voices from the Diaspora once again. We're here with the second segment of our program, and we're talking about reforming the Sierra Leone Constitution, what needs to change. For this segment, we should be talking about women's empowerment. This follows on from what we were talking earlier about the socio-economic rights. And Chapter 3 of our Constitution does talk a lot about the recognition and protection of fundamental human rights, freedoms of the individual. And we're going to go into a bit more about this in this segment. We'll start off with women's rights. Our Constitution as it stands, what has it done to promote women, to give women equal access to services, the little services that are there, and also in terms of decision making, there is a very, the balance of power is very, very uneven between men and women. Do you think we should bring quotas into our Constitution to sort of make it mandatory that women are part of our decision making programs? I would start in this regard with Lee. What do you think of women's rights, and do we have a need for quotas that should be made mandatory through our Constitution? Boy?
Yeah?
Did you hear the question?
Can you please repeat your statement? Your line seems to be wobbling.
Okay, the next segment, which we're on now, is going to focus on Chapter 3 of the Constitution, which talks about the recognition of our rights. And more specifically, I asked, what did you think about women's rights, and do you think we need to have a quota that would give women the access to be part of the decision making?
If I can come in with the women's empowerment. Since time immemorial, I think there have been some level of women's empowerment in Sierra Leone. Because as far as I know, women have been in positions which maybe in some other countries it was not usual in the 60s, like we had Miriam, Lady Cummings John. Later we had several women in high positions like Mamita Ladi Lukan, who was Chief Education Officer, etc., etc. What I see as the issue is today is that more women with this global awareness are asking for more to be given. Yes, that's the right. And I would certainly somebody in favor of women's empowerment. But the question is, do we only have to look at women's empowerment in terms of political gain? What about going down to grassroots levels, empowering the women at grassroots levels? Because I have the belief, and I'm a member of a committee on that you educate a woman, you educate the whole family. When you educate a man, maybe you would educate a family, because honestly, I'll say this for free, my wife spent more time with the kids in terms of studying with them, engaging them in learning the basic things than I have time for. Also, I believe traditionally and even in modern times, we have always had the wrong opinion that women are a weaker sex. I look at them as a stronger sex, in the sense that women are more active, more disciplined. They can do a lot of things on the finer side if they want to and if they are ready to, than us men. So on the issue of women's empowerment.
I with that. Specifically, the area that we are lacking is representation in decision making, and earlier on the more general aspects of socioeconomic rights would and should encompass women in terms of education and health, which we have talked about. With regards to decision making and having an impact on the decisions that are made, we are still grossly underrepresented. So my question is, do you think including a quota system into our constitution, making it mandatory to have a certain level of women as part of the decision making, do you think that is required or necessary, is the question?
Yes, I do agree with you. But
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to hear what Agnes has to say with regards to that.
Okay. I was waiting for that, being the only woman on the panel today. Women have been left out for a very long time. And yes, I would actually want to see a quota system in the representation of women in decision makings of our nation.